You are now watching On the Move with SportzKelz.
I've been running the long run. I've been fighting the good fight. Got my eye on the good prize. So I see you at the finish line. And you're here to get yours. Best believe I'ma get mine. The only one holding me back is me. So I see you at the finish line.
Full speed ahead, cause early bird get the worm or receive the bread. Cause every day it's like a race, from start to finish. And this I can't evade, so Gatorade till I replenish. I gotta finish, cause I ain't a quitter. I'm from the GOAT, so you already know that I am a getter. Not a sitter, I stand. Not a boy, I'm a man. I'm done talking, I'm playing.
It's On the Move with SportzKelz. It's Monday, October the 9th. What's good? What's good?
What's good with you?
Man, it's been a lot that has happened over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Man, from the kneeling to our 45 VPs leaving.
No.
I mean, it's just been.
Yeah. Even with breaking news just today, you got the Dolphins offensive line coach snoring cocaine on video.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. What are you doing out
What
here?
are you doing? And then you got Janelle, so we're just gonna get on into it. Woo! So I'm SportzKelz.
I'm Easy.
And I'm Drew to the ski.
And I'm your man, Fred J, in the house.
And we are On the Move with SportzKelz team. So I'm just excited. It's been, I love this type of season because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like I always say on the weekend, it's like we getting the news, like straight off the Richter. So to open up this show, our question of the night is: name the top 3 NFL teams that are losing ground as the weeks move forward.
Well, we can tell you one right now. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely not. We're going to get into that more. But again, we're going to go around the round table and you're going to tell me your top 3 NFL teams that are losing ground as the weeks move forward, as we go into week 6. So we're going to start with you, Freddie J.
I'm going to come back. I got to get caught up. I was so all into the college stuff that I was doing this weekend. And
You got to go get caught up.
I got to get caught up with everything.
We in week 6. What about you, Drew Ski?
I would have to say one of the teams would have to be the Cowboys because they lost this weekend.
And the way we lost.
I do that.
Another team, they haven't won a game this year, and that would have to be the New York Giants. They're hurting drastically due to injuries.
You know they have 4 receivers get injured yesterday.
Yes.
4 receivers,
yes.
and the main one, Odell Beckham, who fractured his ankle, is out for the season. So.
And my third team would have to be the Steelers. The way they played yesterday was as if they were a first-year team within the NFL.
And did you see how the fans have booed Big Ben yesterday?
Exactly.
I was like,
If I'm not mistaken, I think he threw 5 interceptions.
Yes,
So who do y'all think?
Five interceptions.
But the fact that you see Le'Veon Bell came out after the game and was starting his little rant like in defense of Big Ben that we not running the ball enough, and it's putting the team in a predicament where they're throwing all the time and instead of going back to their bread and butter, which is running the ball. Right. And so he's upset. You know, this is a
So just like you said, Le'Veon, he was very emotional and very vocal after the game because again he didn't get the touches yesterday, and that contributed to Big Ben's 5 interceptions, which was like a record since he was a rookie back in 2004. So again, Steelers, you know, they're more of a ground and pound team. They need to get back to that. They're in the AFC North, which is a predominantly ground and pound division. So again, they need to get back to what they know best, which is Steeler football, which is running the ball. Big Ben throwing 55 times yesterday is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
And the fact that the fans booed him. He's the face of their franchise for almost over a decade, and there is speculation that he may be retiring after this season. He thought about it last season.
He should have retired last year.
But the thing is that you don't boo Big Ben, who has been your face of the franchise for this long, put in the work.
I think it's because also what he said afterwards.
Right.
You know what he said afterwards?
I didn't catch what he said afterwards or whatever. No, I just know there's a lot of turmoil going around in Pittsburgh right now, so they need to get it together here. My 3 teams, again, would be 1, the Cowboys. Not just to say that because again, the way they lost the last 2 weeks in a row, you know, to lose 2 home games, one to the Rams and one to Aaron Rodgers, which Aaron Rodgers basically he just needs to settle home, get a home in Texas, because again he won the Super Bowl in Texas. He won the playoff game last year in Texas, and he beat the Cowboys again on the last few seconds of the game in Texas. So again, he just needs to move to Texas, period. So somehow, if Dallas can get him, hey, y'all will be amazing. But that's never gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen.
My second team, like Drew said, would be the Giants, just because of the fact that 0-5, booing Eli as well too. The coach is on the super hot seat right now. 4 receivers, including Odell. You had Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard, and I forgot the 4th receiver who got injured yesterday. So they, they're in turmoil. 0-5. Looks like they're going to be 0-6 come Sunday night when they play the Broncos in Denver. So again, it's tough sledding right now for the Giants. And my third team, I'm just going to say this on a limb, the Detroit Lions. The way they're kind of up and down team, they've had close games, but again, those close games you need to win, especially in the NFC conference. They lost 2 games, both at home. One to Atlanta, where they didn't score. They got stopped on the 1-yard line, and then yesterday they had like a 4th and goal, and they failed to convert in the red zone yesterday and lost to Carolina 27-24. So again, I say. They started off great, but again, they are actually moving in the wrong direction right now. So
okay.
I feel those are my 3 teams: the Cowboys, Giants, and Lions.
All right, my 3 is again Cowboys. Again, I think it's the way we play. We gave Aaron too much time. We gave him too much time on the clock, even though it was 1 minute. When you're dealing with Aaron, you can't give him but no seconds.
Oh man.
So to me, but it was a good play. Our defense has to get better.
Right.
Has to get better in the next between 6 and 9, week 6 and week 9, we have to get better.
Right.
If not, it's going to be a long season for us. My next one, I'm going to go on a limb. The Patriots. Because again, they played the Buccaneers. They only won by 5.
But you have to.
And I understand everybody keeps saying, but you got to look at New York. The last, I would say 10 years, they have smashed teams. And this year, they're winning by a small margin of winning.
Okay.
So last week it was like 2 or 3. This week it's 5.
Okay.
So to me, I think that curve, yes, Tom Brady can still do what he does. He can still play and make those magnificent plays. But I think some key players are in the huddle that he's used to.
Okay.
He's not, to me, I don't think he's comfortable like he's used to playing.
Okay.
So he has to kind of do a lot more. And then you're saying 40. Now you got to worry about my body being injured.
Absolutely.
And then make sure that I'm getting the proper, getting the receivers involved. And then for me, that last one would be, either Pittsburgh or I would say Pittsburgh, because again, how they played yesterday.
Right.
And not so much that, it was just like what he said afterwards. Ben kind of said where he was talking about, I don't know if I should be here. Like how long, if I'm going to be here any longer. And that to me was like, okay, you're starting to realize that in your mind that,
the clock is ticking.
yeah, like, okay, am I going to make it really through the season? Like last year I was hurt. I played hurt the whole entire season. Le'Veon Bell. When your team starts acting out, because, to me, Tomlin is that true, he like that Tomlin, he that old school coach. You're not going to say too much without him knowing.
Right.
And I think even with his response, I don't think he was aware that Ben was going to say that.
But even I would say yesterday for the Steelers, when I was at B-Dubs yesterday, Steeler Nation was just and it was in a firestorm yesterday or whatever, and all just you would never imagine the cussing and all that stuff you would have heard up there yesterday. But the Steelers wasn't in my top 3 teams because again I just think it was just a bad game. I feel that they'll bounce back or whatever and all, like I say, get back to Steeler football again. They still control that division. I don't see them losing that division at all here because again you got the
But
Ravens.
Baltimore, they playing good.
That was going to be my other pick. My other 2 teams was going to be the Raiders.
Okay.
Because I predicted them to be actually challenging the Patriots this year for the AFC contender. And they got smacked in the mouth by the Ravens yesterday.
But think about it though, David Carr's injured.
But you still got Marshawn Lynch. You can run the ball off. You can hand the ball off.
But you gotta have the leader. David Carr is the leader of that team. You know what I'm saying?
He's the backup quarterback.
E.J. Manuel.
that's not a bad option as a backup quarterback.
But you gotta say you got David Carr up here on the like the upper echelon, and you got EJ Manuel down here, so there's a big difference.
For what, about 3-4 years now?
But he's been a backup though for the last 3-4 years.
When I can hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
But listen, but even I watched the game yesterday. They had the box stacked against Marshawn because again Crabtree is hurt and Cooper's hurt too. Okay. So therefore that's why they had at least 9 in the box last night. Okay. So again, it's not Marshawn. They're just not doing what they have to do or whatever. And all.
So they're a team that I feel is
clicking
losing
together.
ground. And then I gotta also say the Cardinals. I was a little disappointed. Cardinals got smacked in the mouth, 34-7. Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald and that offense. I expected a little bit more out of them. Okay. I know Fitzgerald has usually had pretty decent games against the Eagles, and they really were a non-factor yesterday. I'll take nothing away from Wentz. Their receivers, they played a great game, but I was very disappointed in the Cardinals and their performance. And I know a lot of people had them project. Are they still winning they're 2-3.
Yeah, they 2-3.
So that actually had them winning their division. That AFC actually had them winning that.
There's a couple of teams that are 2-3 that we
so
all
those
like.
are my other 2 teams.
And that's why I said.
Before we go on any further, there was a highlight on that game.
Which one?
And I'm sure he
I didn't watch it.
Carson Wentz threw the ball to who was the receiver?
Torrey Smith. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it was. I don't know. There's 2. I don't know if there's 2. You talking about Nelson Aguilar?
He ran circles around the dude. And he ran circles around him and broke his ankles and then got to the end zone and fell back like this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
now that was a highlight right there.
So. Even we talking about, we talking about the teams going in the other direction. Let's give praise to the teams that's doing good this year. That's surprising teams.
We gotta give it to you, guys.
So, my first team would be the Kansas City Chiefs. 4-0.
Nobody
they undefeated. They're the only team in the NFL undefeated.
Listen, they went to Houston last night and destroyed them. I thought because to believe me, I thought that Houston was going to win that game last night until J.J. Watt got injured the first play of the game.
He got injured, yeah.
I was like, oh man, this game
is
over. Oh, this game is over. So again, like I said, shout out to the Chiefs, still undefeated, ranked number 1 in the power ranking. So yes, number 2, Philadelphia Eagles, 34-7. Defense stepped up. Carson Wentz looked good. Scoring 21 points in the first 5 minutes of the game. Hey, I want
to know what he did on the off season.
Hey, it's preparation. You know what I'm saying? You go from a rookie quarterback to a second-year pro. You know what I'm saying? You'll see the difference. You even see the difference in Dak Prescott as well too. When we had Zeke, then they beat us. They beat us in the shoe.
Didn't they do it against Eddie George's?
Yes. Yeah. Again, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There's always one loss.
It's always that one team that Ohio. I mean, everybody says it's the game. Ohio State, Michigan, that is the game of all games. But again, like I said, we've owned that series for the last 20-some years here now, you know what I'm saying? But now I feel that Michigan State is a more big rival to Ohio State than it would be Penn State. Yes.
I just think Penn State. Oh, go ahead.
But I think even though it's Penn State, but if you even from this weekend we was out at the tailgating, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It is still, even talking to Cornelius Green, Michigan and OSU will always be the rival. When you talk about the legendaries, even I think it starts to change as the new ones, new OSU fans, come up and how things change. But if you ask any legendary or even the ones we talked to over Saturday, all they wanted to know was Penn State and OSU. But the first game was it was OSU and Michigan, and then it was OSU and Penn State, and that was more because of the revenge of us losing the way we did last year. But any legendary, it's all about Michigan and OSU.
Exactly.
It was more of a rivalry because Michigan owned us back
we know
then.
we own them still. But I think, but when you ask, we asked Cornelius Green yesterday. Over Saturday, and we asked some of the legendary that was there. They was like, it's still. They don't care how long they beat them, because Michigan can still come and still play and beat us. So you can never doubt Michigan, because Michigan had the losing record and come in and play to their full potential on game day.
That's what I was gonna say. Even Go back in history when Ohio State, that 1995 team, where we had Eddie George, Terry Glenn, everybody. They were dominating the NCAA. But then when we go up to Ann Arbor and we get slaughtered by Tim Biaka Batuka, you know what I'm saying, 323 yards rushing. You know what I'm saying? They were unranked. They were 7-5 at the time. We were 11-0. You know what I'm saying? Looking to go to the Rose Bowl and we blew it.
But the thing is, if you talk to the younger Ohio State,
right? They don't know nothing about that.
Because of that, we've been so much.
They don't know about that history.
Say that now.
Right.
The older guys, they will say that,
right?
Because they obviously had losing records.
Right.
The John Cooper.
Yeah, man. Let's not talk about him.
And I'm glad you just brought that up because they talked about we went to a tailgate, kind of like switching since we on to college. We went to a tailgating, and again, thank you, Brian Fogle, for allowing us to come to the tailgating for the family. And that you just made that key point where there was young OSU fans. So I would say 35 and under, and then it was us that was 35 and older. And our perspective is just like we're saying right now, where all they knew was that Michigan was dominating. We are dominating them, so we were Michigan State and Penn State. But then you had, Brian, you had Cornelius, you even had Ari, he was the Woody Hayes doctor, and he was there. He was the athletic trainer for Woody Hayes.
Right.
It didn't matter. He don't care how much dominance he said, because you can never let your guard down with a Wolverine. Never.
Then the fact that Michigan, they have lost their starting quarterback Spates for the season. So now it's O'Connor is the guy that's the O'Connor. Yeah, he's the one that's in charge now. And so I can't see because of that. Now Spate, yes, I'll be more worried because Spate actually played pretty decent, against us. But now that you have, just because of the whole hoopla with Saquon Barkley, the whole Heisman, I believe this year the rivalry is Penn State because of all of what's going on in the 11th.
Oh yeah, because I want that one.
And the fact they beat us last year, so it's more of there is somewhat of a revenge match.
Yeah. That's what I think it's more of a revenge than more of a
match.
All right, so just getting back on topic here now, Drew. I know you talked about your college analyst picks or whatever. I want to hear about your 3 games this week. I want to hear about
Okay,
I want to hear about
Come on.
Because
I don't have 3 games this week.
Okay.
But I have 2 games.
Okay.
That are major games that need to be watched.
Okay.
You got 5-1 Auburn versus LSU at LSU. LSU is 4-2.
Now I did pick LSU to beat Florida.
Yes, you did. Okay. This is a battle of 2 teams within the SEC West.
Yes.
Although LSU won in a hostile environment this past weekend against Florida, their coach is still on the hot seat due to the loss 2 weeks ago against Troy. Offensively, they do not have what it takes to beat teams soundly. They have been dependent more on their defense to keep games within reach to win it within the fourth quarter. They have yet to have a runway game this year in which they even seem worthy of talking about. They have running back Darius Juice and Darrell Williams, who both have over 300 yards rushing to depend on, but they will need more than that. They will need more than just those 2 to win games against Auburn, even though it is a home game for them. Their quarterback, Danny Edlin, has to do more with his arm to extend the field to keep Auburn on their toes. They need to give their fans something to look forward to and not get blown out at home, in which I think they're going to get blown out.
I think, who is Auburn, LSU? Yeah,
yes.
I'm going to go Auburn.
Auburn, on the other hand, has Jarrett Stidham, who has been averaging over 224 yards passing, with Kerryon Johnson rushing for over 120 yards. I would like to see a close game, but I don't see it. I got Auburn by 10+ at LSU.
I think LSU will win that game. After the big emotional win against Florida in the Swamp, I feel LSU is on the right path to get back into the dominance of the SEC West. So I feel LSU is going to win that game.
I just don't see them having it offensively.
No, they've not looked impressive.
The quarterback is barely passing for 100 yards.
I agree with you.
But the rushing game is there. The rushing game is there.
Yeah, but Auburn has a defense that will stack the box just to stop those two running backs.
Florida does too, but you saw what happened to Florida.
What was your perspective? You didn't bring that game up, but the Bama and Texas A&M, how that game is.
I did call that game, and I said Alabama, and I said that Texas, they wasn't going to run away with that game.
Texas A&M, they kept coming.
And if you think about it, the last touchdown, take that away, that game was still close. That last touchdown that Bama got, that was a give-me touchdown.
That was just.
That was a good defensive game because I knew that Texas A&M, it was Texas A&M, right?
Yes.
I knew that they was coming to play because they were 4-1 and they had only lost to UCLA.
Right.
So I knew that it wasn't going to be a pushover game, and that is probably the best game that Alabama is going to have this year until they play Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and until
they don't play.
Nope, they don't play Georgia. Georgia is in the SEC
East.
Right. So Georgia has a clear path. They're on the collision course.
Okay. Georgia.
That's the game. If there's a game that's going to break them, it's going to be that Auburn Iron Bowl game. And it's going to be that SEC championship game.
Okay.
Cool. I get it.
Now, your next game, Drew, or do you have another one?
Yes, I do. I have.
Okay.
And there's a reason for this. I have Washington 6-0 versus Arizona State at 2-3.
Where's the game at?
Arizona State.
The Big Eight always play teams tough.
Understand this. The only reason why I had this game relevant is because everyone has been talking about Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Penn State, and Oklahoma. People seem to forget about the West Coast and the Pac-12. Washington is very relevant with their QB, Jake Browning, soon to crack my top 5 in the Heisman list for various reasons. But Arizona State's quarterback averages 290 yards passing per game, and he only has 2 interceptions. Don't think for once that this quarterback is not going to try to show up Browning and Washington's defense. It would do college football some justice if they knocked off Washington this week, in which I have Washington on upset alert.
Ooh.
Okay.
But you got them on alert. I got a special game for you that might be a bigger upset alert than that game right there.
Okay. We'll get to that. Now, wide receiver N'Keal Harry will look to extend the field against Washington's defense while opening up the running game for them by doing so with Kalen Ballage carrying the load for Arizona State in the backfield. Running back Myles Gaskins balances the offense out for Washington in order for Browning to open up his passing to his targets in Dante Pettis and Hunter Bryant. Look for this game to be a shootout because Browning, he passes less than 290. So Manny Wilkins, he's going to try to show this boy up.
Okay.
So this is going to be a shootout.
It's going to be the game.
I got Washington on upset alert, but I'm picking Washington 2 points.
Ooh, so
Now, are they ranked in the top 10?
Washington
is number
yes,
6.
They're
Yes,
6?
yes, they are.
Now, did the changes now with Michigan losing this weekend, did anything change within the top 10?
Here's your top 10. Alabama, Clemson, Penn State, Georgia, Washington, TCU, Wisconsin, Washington State, Ohio State, and Auburn.
Okay.
Miami is 11. Now that I went over that,
game. That Miami Florida State game. Oh my God.
Alabama has Auburn left. Clemson has NC State and Florida State left.
Okay.
Penn State is in the East. They have Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State in consecutive weeks.
That's a tough stretch, right?
Exactly. Can Penn State stay on track?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We agree on that.
I don't think so either.
You never know. You never know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Just in regards for Penn State, they have that nucleus, though. You know what I'm saying? If they can get past Michigan, then they have to play Ohio State next.
That Ohio State
that's the
defense
game.
is going to step
That's
up.
the game that will win.
And that Michigan State defense is going to step
I
up.
just hope the Buckeyes don't fall into a trap game with Nebraska being at Nebraska. It's a night game. We always know it's a difficult environment to go down to Lincoln. I hope they're not peeking ahead, looking to. Then they get the bye, and then you get Penn State. So I'm just hoping they're not overlooking this team, and we fall in, and it's like a trap game, thinking that all right, we got Penn 2 weeks to go prepare for Penn State.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a trap game. No. I honestly think that Ohio State is going to pick up from where they left off. Those two teams, they got to ride it out if they want to stay relevant. Right. TCU and the Big 12. That's what I want to talk about. With Oklahoma losing, that kills it for the Big 12 in the BCS elections. TCU would have to win out.
In order for them to move
forward? In order for them, because the Big 12 doesn't have a championship.
Yeah, that's always been a big down.
That's what's going to hurt them. If Oklahoma or Texas Tech or Texas trips up TCU, you can forget about the Big 12 even being in the BCS elections.
Thank you, Iowa State.
Now, Wisconsin is ranked right underneath them. They have Michigan left, but they're in a different name, so they could lose that game and it wouldn't even matter because in the conference that they're in,
the division,
they're just running away with it.
They're in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, the Big Ten West. They're just running away with it.
Are they? I don't know if there's anybody else in the Big Ten.
That's why I said that Wisconsin, they're beating teams silently.
Right.
Everybody's sleeping on them.
No, I don't never sleep on Wisconsin.
No.
That is the team that's going to be in the Big Ten championship.
Because there's no one in there, and
there's
no
nobody
one in there. That's why I don't like the way they split it. Because Wisconsin is always going to go to the Big Ten championship.
One of those teams don't play Ohio State and Michigan on the schedule. Was that Wisconsin?
Wisconsin only has Michigan.
They didn't play Ohio State.
It's like either other year they get Ohio State and Michigan, but again, there's no one good in the Big West. They don't even talk about the Big West.
Iowa and that is in the West, and you got who else?
Right.
Maryland.
Okay, now we have Washington State that's in the north. They have Stanford and Washington left, and Washington is ranked number 6. Then you have Ohio State. When I speak of Ohio State, they're in a position where they can control their own destiny.
Right.
They have Penn State, a tough Iowa team.
Yes.
Iowa is not good this year, but
they
Iowa always plays tough.
Yes. At home, especially.
They got Michigan State.
Okay.
And they have Michigan.
Right.
So out of all these teams that are left, it would have to be Ohio State and Auburn with the toughest remaining schedules.
Yes.
Auburn has LSU, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Alabama left.
Ooh.
And that's why I always tell people, if you're going to lose early. You want to, because you always got time to make up ground.
Right.
Because especially when teams start playing their rivals and all that. So that's why when everybody was just when Ohio State losing, I'm like, there's a lot of football that I'd rather lose early. And look at Oklahoma, prime example, losing on Iowa State.
Oh.
You can't. I don't want to lose a rival game in the middle end of the season. You don't have enough time.
But see, the thing with Ohio State losing to Oklahoma, that was an out of conference game. So again, it's a big loss. But again,
what you mean out of conference? That's Big 12.
I said Ohio State and Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, yeah. My fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So that's an out of conference game. So again, it's an impact, but it doesn't impact their way of getting to the Big Ten title game.
Right. Well, it's just a matter of where you fall in as far as from a national, when you're trying to get to the playoffs and all that. That's what I'm saying, because there's going to be always a lot of
So kind of wrapping up, like moving forward into, we're going to go into our high school sports.
High school football.
But what do you think, Drew, is going to be, since you already highlighted your key games, what do you think is going to happen between, like, in the next 2 weeks? We get ready to go on a bye, like going towards the end of October, going into November. What do you think is going to be like that key shakeup? Like those two teams that you're going to think is going to be a key shakeup, because we go on a bye on the 21st, we come back and we have a heavy schedule from the 21st on until Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So when would you think Ohio State will land?
I'll tell you. TCU. If TCU loses any of these games, Ohio State is going to bump up.
Okay. So
Ohio State they control their own destiny. They need to ride it on out
Okay.
They have a tough schedule, Big Ten schedule.
Yes.
You know, I normally say Ohio State has a soft schedule, but looking at the back end of their schedule, Penn State,
loaded.
Iowa, Michigan State,
all
and then
back to
the
back.
rivalry
I
with
can
Michigan.
laugh, like back to back.
Right.
One team that I didn't talk about, and they're knocking on the door, is Miami.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my God, that Florida State game and thing.
Miami is undefeated,
Miami.
and
Okay.
with
State.
if TCU loses, Miami is going to
So
replace
TCU
them.
was in 7th.
They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, Washington
1,
6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this is ESPN.
Okay,
rankings.
so Georgia moved
So
up to number.
Alabama's 1, Clemson's 2, Penn
Penn
State
State.
3, Georgia's
4.
4, Washington's 5. So really, if TCU lose any game, so they're the gateway for
Yep.
all the other teams. to just
TCU
move.
loses, the
Everything
Big 12
else,
is out.
So we just flood the gate.
They're out.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
Now,
Okay.
That leads it
And
over.
Alabama, Clemson is gonna stay at
They
1, 2.
please lose.
No.
Somebody, do you see anybody tripping up Alabama in a trap game?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Auburn.
So,
Auburn in that collision course
Yes.
with Georgia.
Tired of them,
But
That's it.
Because they still win, no matter what. They win 4th quarter.
They always say Big Ten is soft, but
No.
I'm looking at the SEC and Alabama. I'm like, who are they playing?
they're playing the same teams that everybody else in the SEC is playing. They're just better than them.
I'm just like,
Now,
That fourth
now,
quarter
Drew,
game.
now, I do have a game here. I want your honest opinion on this game. I have this.
I see it already.
I see an upset. I see an upset
Yup,
alert on
yeah,
this
yeah,
game
yeah.
already.
So who is this
You know what
game?
I'm saying? This game is a 12 o'clock game. It is Michigan versus Indiana at Indiana. Now, hey, I for some reason I just saw this game out the corner of my eye. Like Indiana running this run and shoot offense. Michigan hurting from that.
Yeah.
They can still have a hangover from last week. Hey man, this could be the this could be a straight prime kill for Indiana right here. You know,
Exactly.
I want your opinion on that.
I agree with you on that
Okay.
because they have a good passing game.
Yes.
And they have receivers. And they could exploit the field on Michigan. Michigan's defense is not that sound.
Right.
So, you know what? That was a game I started to put down, but then I was like, you know, a lot of people would think that game will be irrelevant.
No,
But
it's not.
that's going to trip Michigan up. They lose that game, it's a wrap. And like you
Indiana
said,
plays.
when you said trap games,
That's a trap. This
game.
is a trap game right
that's
here.
a trap game right
that's a
there.
trap game.
Yes.
First of all, it's noon.
It's a noon game.
And Indiana plays
They still
well.
have no defense, man.
But they play well on offense. Like you would not
Defense
think that they would
terrible.
play, but that you said they go to the air.
Right.
Their passing game is like wow. When you turn it on, you'd be like, did you just throw that? You'd be like, and Indiana's what 3-2?
Right.
So they
They got
they're
offense. They
sitting
got-
like literally.
Exactly.
They're another team. I always say control their destiny. It's just that they don't know how to close. They can't
Right.
finish. So they at 1-2. The beginning of the game, they play well. It gets to 4th quarter and they just fall apart.
Like I said, when I saw this game, I'm like, oh.
But if the way Michigan came off that loss, and you talking about because they played hard in Michigan State.
And like you said earlier, Fred, O'Korn is now their quarterback.
Right.
You know, he's going to a hostile environment. His first game on the road.
They can't run the ball.
I'm just saying, this is the ultimate trap game for Michigan right here.
I had 2 games, but now that Eric mentioned that was one of the games that I was going to put down. That's going to be the 3rd game that I'm going to write about, and it'll be posted on SportzKelz.
Okay.
I can't wait to see this analysis.
Okay.
Woo, we just gonna keep. Now we just gonna shift gears to the high school and college.
Man,
Ready, Jay?
This weekend was a tremendous weekend. Starting off this weekend in the City League, we still had 3 undefeated teams heading into week 7.
Yes, we did.
2 of the 3 have remained undefeated. One of the third ones had finally gotten knocked off. Eastmore Academy Warriors defeated Independence 76ers High School, which was a great game from what I was told. I mean, Eastmore, they bounced back after they've been kind of struggling. I was glad to see Alex Ussery. Got a chance to talk to him, a couple weeks ago with him and his dad. Glad to see that they, picked it up. And it was the homecoming game. So you gotta win homecoming games. So big ups to the Eastmore Academy Warriors for pulling that victory out. And now we only have 2 undefeated left. And those 2 are powerhouses, and they are on a collision course for October 20th, which is going to decide the City League South Division.
Next week.
And that is actually Marion Franklin, who actually destroyed Briggs on the road, 53-26. They are 7-0, still undefeated. And then you have Walnut Ridge, who just demolished Afro Centric. There was 45-14.
It was just, I was like, wow.
So those 2 teams, I told people in the beginning of the season,
you said it, are going at collision course. So where's
the game at?
That's what we want to know.
It's going to be at Marion Franklin.
But
the thing is, Walnut Ridge, they play
well. Yes.
They got a nice defense.
Yes.
Justin Vance, them guys over there on Walnut Ridge, they got a team over there, and they could possibly upset Marion Franklin if Franklin does not, if they don't come to play, because Marion Franklin, if I say their downfall, is their passing game. The quarterback, I like him, but he's a little bit inaccurate. His accuracy is sometimes a little questionable. So it's going to come down to that game next week, and we're going to be in full force over there.
Yeah, because don't you like about Walnut Ridge, because they play well on the road. They play better on the road than they do at home.
But that's because it's just something when you travel on the road.
Yes.
It's just us against the world type mentality.
And that's the mentality that they are playing. I've seen some of their highlights, and they play better. Their defense is
scary.
And it gets better when they play away games. It's like they embrace it. Like when Fred was out there talking
hate.
when Fred was talking to the players, they embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
They like, yes. And when they go out, what they say, they back it up, because it's like off the block. As soon as the ball is snapped, it's.
So
we're gonna be in 4-4.
I gotta give it to those 2 teams. And the game that was the highlight for me this weekend, I actually got a chance to go see Mifflin Punchers, and they played over in the City League North.
Okay.
Because a lot of people said I wasn't giving the City League North any love.
So we get on the SportzKelz, gave them some love.
So it was their senior night. They honored the seniors.
Sosa from the Ohio Semi-Pro. I've been following him because again, he played, and Winton Woods is 7-0, like undefeated, no games lost. They had an impressive game last week. This week they play Elder at Winton Woods, and they have a game that is coming here. I think in the next week or 2 they'll be playing DeSales. So I want to go out there and see them, because they're ranked 6th in the state of Ohio in division. I want to say their division is. I'll find what their division is, because I guess the ranking comes out tomorrow. But their conference is 1-0. They're 6th ranked in their division, and they are 7-0 in Cincinnati. So they're coming to Columbus DeSales to play like in the next 2 weeks. So that's one game that I want to go see. But again, shouts out to Winton Woods football team from Cincinnati, Ohio, 7-0. And I think it's like 8 teams total in Ohio that are 7-0. Wow. And that's one of them.
That's
so when you move outside of like Columbus and City League, and you start going into Cincinnati, Dayton, Troutwood, you start seeing some. Archbishop.
Those are some big boy football.
Some big boy football.
Glenville is always top.
Big football.
Cleveland's got quite a good high school football program.
So man, that was first half. So listen, stay tuned. That was action packed. Action packed. So we're gonna switch sets, and when we come back, we're gonna have our coaching from the couch. So on the move with SportzKelz, we will be back.
All right. That was good.
Yeah. That was all right.
Hey, what's going on? This from SportzKelz. This segment right here is for all the guys that's on the couch watching the games, or you in the stadium, or you out tailgating, getting it in with your boys. You going at it, talking whatever's up for the day. But right now, my heart is in the tank with the Michigan Wolverines. I was hooping and hollering at that game from start to finish. Man, I'm telling you, that coaching staff right now, they not doing what they need to do with O'Corn. They just not locking in on that dude. He needs to get into a rhythm.
They got some more losses coming.
Hey.
Well, you know what?
Hey, okay. What about your North Carolina? What's going on down there?
Hey, they garbage. I can tell the truth on here.
Okay, that's what we supposed to do.
Michigan. They're going to lose about 2 more games.
2 more games.
2 more
Okay, well, we're going to have a little private side-to-side bet on that, 2 more games. But the key with Michigan right now, they got to get O'Corn in the rhythm.
Play Penn State.
They got to play Penn State.
So, let's take Penn State right now.
Okay, take Penn State right now. It's all gravy.
It's all for y'all.
Yep, it's good to go. We'll take it. But right now, like I said, it's about getting him in the rhythm. If they get him in the rhythm, like I said, they got to tighten up, shorten up the passes, and just get him in the rhythm. And that right side of the line is a problem right now.
That's fine, as long as y'all cool with the Chick-fil-A bowl.
That's cool. That's cool. But y'all ain't going to a bowl. Y'all not. See, you waiting on basketball season. I already know you waiting on basketball season.
I'm fine with that.
No, I don't, man. And then this right here, you sit next to me with my Bengals. We both in the toilet there.
2-2.
2-2. Yeah, we 2 and 3. So we'll get it worked out. But right
We'll
now,
beat Minnesota tonight.
y'all gonna beat Minnesota tonight.
We'll beat Minnesota with the rookie quarterback. I didn't ask for them to pick him, but I got the road with him. What I'm supposed to do?
Y'all gonna beat Minnesota tonight? I doubt that very serious. Ain't no way in the world.
Playing at first. They gonna be all drunk. That soda's good. Everybody gonna be rooting for them Bears. Bears gonna win tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm
Mark my word.
gonna hold you to that. You gonna put some wings on that?
Put some wings on it.
Okay. We got some BW3s on.
BW3s.
Okay.
Or roosters.
No roosters.
Or roosters.
All right, well, my main thing today to talk about is my man down in Miami. Now, that one, I was shocked to see that today. That one right there was the craziest thing you could ever do. Has anybody learned from Tiger Woods? I do not understand how you at work and you pop out the goodie line.
He was on a sideline calling plays high.
I ain't doubting he was
high.
Yeah, I ain't doubting it.
He told him, just because Miami is the cocaine central, that don't mean that you got to be doing it at work.
Exactly. But my thing is, he was on there begging and pleading to some chick. Did you listen to that?
I did.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world? How
Why
do
ain't
you
y'all
beg?
learned yet?
Yeah.
Women are going to tape y'all, and they're going to put that on the internet. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's about getting that loot. She trying to stop going to work.
You was stupid.
Yeah, she trying to stop going to work. So
You was going to town on them lines too.
yeah. Oh man, dude, that little bit he had left, he hit that like a vacuum
That's
cleaner.
why Miami's horrible. You seen their offensive line? It was the offensive line coach. They can't block. See, because he high. The coach high. He high on the sidelines coaching them.
Yeah, so they ain't practicing at all. They just out there just looking at each other Monday through Thursday, just looking at each other.
So this ain't the first time that he did.
No,
This has gone on for a long time. He just got busted.
Yeah, his feelings was hurt. Whatever little chick he was talking to, she cut the cord on him, and he was put in the plea bar.
Waiting, what's taking them so long for them to fire him though?
No, he resigned.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he cashed in the chips, man.
Yeah, he might as well.
He ain't had no other choice.
He might as well resign. Just go ahead and finish that getting high.
Yeah, finish your line and walk out the door.
Finish it up.
Yeah, because that
you free now. You can get high all you want now.
Well, he might have to budget a little bit. Them checks ain't coming in.
Checks ain't gonna be on.
Yeah,
So you
so
got to
he-
budget. You got to be down in the hood. He gonna be in the pork and beans. Still down in Miami.
Well, my next thing is, man, like I said, we in that pick'em league where it's $800 on the line. 800. So this week, I'll go with the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jaguars. And guess what? My boy, bandit of the bathroom, Roethlisberger, he blows it. I mean, dude, 5 picks. And I should have known anytime you got a black dude and a white quarterback, the black dude gonna punk the quarterback. I want the ball. Because I had the same thing.
Let's talk about Jerry's hypocritical butt.
Yeah, Jerry, he was out of bounds with what he did today. Man, how you gonna kneel one week and then talking about everybody yank if they kneel this week?
Why the whole team just don't come out?
Then that would be nice. That'd be nice.
What you gonna do?
You still gotta
The
pay.
team don't come out and play. What you gonna do?
Yeah. I agree with you. I will go that route.
You can't just.
I mean, you're exactly right. What you gonna do?
It's a protest for a reason. It's called protest.
Yeah, I think Jerry got a nice little phone call from the White House. Like, look, you better clean this up because they running them up right now.
Don't kneel. We gonna kneel, but we gonna still stand for the anthem. That's like, what
Yeah.
kind of protest is that? That's not a protest.
That's not a protest. That's just being that the man then called you on your red bat phone in your office, and you picked it up. He's like, look, you better get it straight, or we got a problem. Got a problem. So what you got going on, man? How your fantasy rolling right now?
My fantasy is in the tank right now. I'm 2-3 in that league that we got some money on, but you know, I had some. All my team is pretty much injured. I got your boy Coleman. You know, he injury prone. He out. They ain't giving Crowell the ball. He's garbage. Your boy Tyler Eifert, he just can't get on the field. I got him too.
Well, he from Notre Dame. What you expect? He's soft as a sponge.
I can't do nothing like that.
He's
So,
soft as a
right now, I
sponge.
guess I'm just waiting for the NBA to come back.
Oh, yeah. But right now, my fantasy, buddy, I'm getting drugged down the street. My knees are scraped up. I'm to the bone right now. I'm 0-4 in one and 2-2 in the other.
Are you 0-4 now?
0-4, buddy. I'm gonna have that. There's a trophy that's handed out. It's a toilet. It's gonna be. I done had it the first year. It's gonna be sitting back on my desk this year. I'm telling you, man. That I took the running back from Arizona.
David
Ellen.
Johnson.
Yeah, out. Took a receiver from Jacksonville, Robinson, ACL, out. Then my man from Minnesota.
Cook, you got him too?
No, out. Yeah, man, I'm just.
That's some bad luck, man.
Man, I'm just throwing money in the fan.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
At least you still in that pick'em lead. I'm out.
Man, I got one.
Atlanta let me down.
Well, I'm rolling with the Jets, and you know, if the Jets, I'm just rolling with whoever playing Cleveland.
Whoever playing Cleveland, just pick against Cleveland.
Yeah, that's all I'm picking. Yeah, and that's for you, Fred.
Cleveland might get one game this year.
No, they ain't getting no games this year.
But they ain't letting the coach do nothing. They just let him coach. He ain't got no decisions. He can't say
Well,
nothing. He can't go up there. They just be like, statistics say that we can't put him there and we can't pick this guy up.
Well, my thing is, I
awful.
don't think the QB can read, because that kite man, that joker he's horrible
got
back
benched
there.
yesterday.
But
Put him to the
yeah,
bench.
he having a rough one, and I hope it stay that way, because whoever they playing, I'm sticking with their opponent. Sticking with their opponent. And right
Play
now,
Cleveland. Put your money on Cleveland to lose. Hope ain't no Cleveland fans in here.
oh yes, Cleveland fan right back there with a knife in his hand. He about to cut
Get
himself.
him the knife
Take it
out
from
his
him.
hand. Get the knife
Take
out
it
his
from
hand.
him. Grab his tie, because he might hang himself. Take it from him.
Or the 49ers.
Well, yeah, the
You're a
49ers.
49ers fan too.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes,
man,
I
you just
am.
getting it all the way around.
Hey, I'm getting it shoved down my throat.
The wife got a hypocritical owner. You root for Michigan. You root for the 49ers. It's just.
That's true enough. That's true. Like I said, you saving all your bones for that dirty team down in North Carolina with the fraudulent education program.
Hey, at least they true about themselves. They did it.
Well, they admitted it, but my thing is, how do you get away with that? How you get away with that?
Hey.
Roy Williams is he dirty, man.
Hey,
He dirty.
the check cleared.
But right now, you better use cash, because you don't want no tracers. You better use cash. You better use cash.
What's up with the Kardashians coming up to Cleveland's practice, shutting it down, and LeBron getting mad because the Kardashians showed up wanting to film their show at the practice?
Oh, well, you got to give me some enlightenment on
Well,
this
you know,
one.
Tristan,
Yeah. Oh,
got the
yeah.
baby.
Yeah, he got Chewbacca.
by Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
So, ain't nothing that, what else can they do?
Yeah.
So LeBron, had to put his spill in, like, what y'all doing here and stuff like that. And,
So he shut it down.
oh, he ain't shut it down. They still kept filming, but, it is what it is.
Oh, so they kept rolling by the king was.
They kept rolling.
See, if that had been MJ, that would have got shut down. That's why LeBron is not a true killer. That's why my gripe with LeBron, he is not a true killer. Not a true killer. Even though he got this team right now, it's gonna be real interesting to see what they do. If Derrick Rose's knees can hold up from blowing out,
I give Derrick Rose about 20 games.
oh, they better exercise the minutes on Derrick
I
Rose.
give Dwayne Wade about 30 games.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade look like he ready to fall out. And that little
They got the geriatric team, but they can still, hold off in the playoffs.
yeah, that little curl he got going on right now, he need to get
He
rid
played
of that.
good in the preseason.
Oh, of course. I mean, he out there playing against some bums. But the one I want to see is old boy. I want to see the Bucks play with what's the guy's name? What's his name?
Abe, the alphabet. That's his name. His name is the alphabet.
Yeah, well, he's a baller, man.
Ginikapunko.
Yeah, there you go. I think they're going to be tough, and I want to see the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves going to be real. Yeah, the Timberwolves going to be a problem. But I think if they're going to have any kind of little controversy, I think the Wizards is going to be a problem. It just depends on, how their chemistry running around. I think the Wizards is going to be a problem.
Too. Oklahoma might be an issue, too.
Yeah, well, out West, that out West is just going to be a shootout.
They got all 3 gunners on their team, so got the kids.
Paul, I'm telling you, that Chris Paul, he going to have a meltdown because that ain't going to work.
That's not his game.
No. When you got that gun hard.
And he gonna want to bring it up to court too, and Chris Paul gonna be like, I'm the point guard.
Yeah, it's gonna be some ugliness in that locker room. I guarantee that's gonna happen because Chris Paul, he a little diva. He like a receiver. He a little pretty boy. He like a receiver.
He want the ball. He want to control the team. Yeah. That's why Doc was like, go ahead, you can go.
Yeah, because he a little pretty boy, man. If it ain't going his way, he crying about it. And it's
hard to know that this team, so it's going to be a battle of the brain.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work.
It's not going to work.
I don't think that's going to work. But the Thunder, I think that's going to be interesting. If they can get old Milo to play some defense.
Which is like picking, Einstein's brain for him to like go play some defense, and then I'll let you go down and shoot.
Yeah. Another problem they got is going to be that bench. So they bench is going to be the next issue. Yeah, they bench is garbage.
Awful.
Yeah.
You see that one dude? What's their starting guard? The light skinned dude. He can't.
For the Thunder?
For the Thunder.
Westbrook? Okay. Well.
Not Westbrook.
The starting shooting guard?
Roberson.
There you go.
Awful.
Oh, well, they gonna pay for it.
He is just.
They gonna pay for it.
He shoots air balls.
Hey. That's
about
having your hairy ones in your throat. You ain't ready for the big time. But right now, we got to wrap this segment up. It's the first one out the gate. Hope everybody enjoyed it. It's just about keeping it real. And Drew over there with the flu. So I hope we ain't get that blowout on the mic.
Edit.
So everybody, we'll hopefully show up once a month, give a little bit of, y'all want to SportzKelz and then want to keep it on the, keep it real, but we gonna try to give it the street version and give it to you.
Y'all some insight going on out there.
Yeah, we'll get Easy E up here, but we gotta put a harness on Easy E because he'll say some bad words. So love the SportzKelz and their crew. I appreciate them letting us have a little time today. Everybody peace and enjoy it and go blue.
Yeah. 2 more losses coming.
Oh, North Carolina, little dirty basketball squad.
That's a nice little segment.
Yeah, little segment. Kind of break it up, coaching from the couch.
Yeah, I definitely got to get on that segment.
I'm have to talk with that Bengals.
So we're going to that will be every month. So you will see that again. I might even see it a little bit probably by the end of the month, but we'll see how things go. So shouts out to Toy and SportzKelz for that.
Yes.
So listen, it was an action-packed hour. Action-packed. We talked about the huddle, NFL. Right. We talked about college, high school. And now we're just going to go into some Sports Street Heat news before we go into our Easy E rant. I can't believe it's almost 8 o'clock already. I'm like, man, this time goes by so fast. But there's a couple of events. This Saturday, we will be at Airports Barbers. For our second Clippers and Conversations. I'm excited. They are excited to have us. And we better get, again, going into the community, we'll be able to talk and just have another fun. And it's from 12 to 2 o'clock. You can watch live.
Have you set up some beauty part? I want to go into the
you're going to go into some beauty part. We're going to have to get there. So ladies, if you have a beauty shop you want on the move with SportzKelz to come on in here and give your take on sports, call us. 614-636-1278. We also, in the morning, I'm going to go to what's called Voices Matter. It is a community event for girls. So if you have any girls in between the ages of 8 and 15, the flyer is on my website. It actually will be Saturday morning at on Mount Vernon, 450 Mount Vernon. And it's pretty much just like another community conversation, but on a young lady's perspective. So I have the pleasure of being a part of that on Saturday. from 9 to 11. So I'm glad to just be a part of that. Because again, I'm always about the community. We are going to be the Toys and Tots drop off. So as of next week, you will be able to bring your toys. Yes, it does start early. It's Christmas. They only have it from starting today until December 9th. You will be able to bring your toys to our location while we're here on the show. Mondays, 6 to 8 o'clock. We are a Toys for Tot location. So I'm excited to be a part of that. So again, just kind of wrap it up to go into the rant. Man, women has been the focal point of the last weeks between Cam Newton, the Dove, and then the Nivea commercial about the purity. Wow. I mean, it's just, again, I don't know what to say. It's just been crazy. Yeah, it's just been crazy of how, like, for me, I'm always, this is going to be kind of candid. It happens, before the commercial comes out, it's in the boardroom, That's where you're sitting around like we are now, and they're making these decisions. Who is making these decisions to say that it's okay? And, everybody has their opinion, but from the Dove, when they're taking off the shirt, to the Caucasian woman, then you have the Nivea commercial with the purity, then you go from Cam Newton's, again, me as a women's sports analyst, I took offense. Everybody kept asking me everybody kept tagging me in it. My take on it was it was offensive. I mean, this is what I deal with all the time when you're on the, on the media trail. Everybody keeps saying, he was just petty. No, it's not. Because that was her job to know, what was going on in the game, to do her homework, like Drew has told me to do. You gotta do your homework. Those are things that when you want to go to the next level, you have to do your homework on players. So you have to know routes. You gotta be able to speak the language in order for you to speak intelligent when you're at the mic. Absolutely. So for him to make a gesture of like, ha ha, and then he came on again yesterday with this Joker outfit on, and he was joking about it again.
Now, listen, just in regards to that, I feel Cam Newton should be suspended for this game Thursday night. He should be suspended Thursday night.
Not gonna happen.
He's been like this, and everybody keeps saying, I know, he's been like this in Auburn. I understand it.
But it started in Florida when he went to Florida.
You are in the media eye and you have this is something that you just got to think about. There's more women now. It has opened the door for myself. And then you have Janelle being, suspended for 2 weeks. That came down today. And I knew that was going to come because, again, everything that's been hyped and that's in the limelight of 45, with the taking of the knee, the way it interprets the flag, it was bound to happen. I just didn't know when. And again, women are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we're on the same path, like I said, amongst men, and we might not talk all the stats, and some women, they know the true stats. You got to give us our props. You got to be able to speak to us intelligent, just like we speak to you. And we want to be, handled and talked about just like everybody else.
Oh, Lord. Was that the general league?
That's the general league. So, again, we're not, and thank you for that. We're not the Daisy Dukes anymore. Right. We ain't, and I was glad that came right on time. We're not the Daisy Dukes anymore. We're not the talent. And that's what everybody think we the talent. So, listen, we're not. We need to be respected just like our counterparts.
Now, my thing, my opinion as far as the whole Cam Newton thing, the way Cam Newton was talking about it, it could have used words, differently, yes, but my thing, I don't think he really meant it in any disrespect. I just meant it because, as far as, that was probably like the first time or whatever, women coming at him talking about routes and this and that, and I kind of felt like, if you're going to be in the media, especially a female, you got to learn to develop thick coated skin.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Flag on the play.
No,
what are you talking about?
This is my opinion that I believe that because it's cutthroat, not just from women or men, but it's cutthroat in general. You have got to be thick coated. As far as if you want to survive. No, it's my opinion again that I don't feel that Cam Newton was disrespectful. We talked about it earlier. I do think that they take it out of context, but it's just like going into, my opinion, it's just like going into a female establishment and women are talking about, let's say, hair, talking about soap operas or whatever. What I'm just saying, I'm trying to make a distinction that as far as the same thing, that if it's a women topic that's dominated women topic, like a beauty shop, if you're talking about hair, talking about soap operas, and you get a man to come in and you get a man to talk about, coming in trying to, it's kind of, look at him, look at that person like, hold on, what are you talking about? So my thing is, as far as with Cam Could he have used his choice of words better? But I just think, coming from his angle, he's probably not used to a female reporter asking him about routes. And like I said, and this is my opinion, we have the right to disagree.
Yes.
But I don't feel that he meant any disrespect towards that female reporter.
He laughed at the woman.
But the thing is, I think it was just that the fact, like I said, everybody has a right to their own opinion. But my thing on my take, I don't feel that he should have got, especially with the backlash that he received. Then you got Jamil Hill getting suspended for putting her, feelings and thought process on the whole Jerry Jones spin.
But you weren't
especially, and then aftermath that when you have the commander-in-chief who puts out all this stuff about SOBs, basically talking about people's mothers and all this. Emmitt Smith, a star Hall of Fame running back, came out and said, why is everybody putting Cam Newton on a higher platform than the president Donald Trump? Why is everybody getting on his backlash instead of President Trump? And President Trump went on ahead and was going with his rants about what he said. So and I kind of understood what Emmitt was saying, that, yeah, you cannot have everybody giving a backlash on an NFL football player or when him, saying what he said, but then everything that our commander-in-chief has said, where's the backlash and outrage and all that? My personal feeling, everybody has a right to their own opinion, has a right to disagree, but I don't feel that he did any disrespect. I know we've been on social media and everything for the past 24 to 48 hours since all this story is broke. I don't feel that he, then he came out and apologized. As far as with that, he did come out and apologize to it, but I don't think that Cam meant any disrespect towards the female reporter.
Let me say something on that. First of all, she's a journalist. That's her job. She's a professional. So, of course, being a professional and being a journalist, whenever you're interviewing, you have to know what you're talking about.
Right.
So, for him, she asked him, did the receiver run
the right
certain
routes.
route? So, obviously, she knew her job because she is a sports reporter. For him to react the way that he did,
he laughed at her.
That was unprofessional.
And he didn't apologize.
He apologized for the tweet the following day.
You have to understand, that's just like saying, if you go into the doctor, 9 times out of 10 people are thinking it's going to be a male doctor. It could be a female doctor. What's the difference? It's a journalist. She's a journalist. You got male journalists that are usually in sports, and then you have female journalists that's in sports as well.
But like I said, everybody has a right.
Yeah, and we do, and that's what and it has been. It's not just you. You're not the only one. I'm saying. I just felt that for me as a woman, this is what I dealt with since for me coming into this business. That's just day one. So now it's like, wow. It's like, and I guess with Cam, it's like, how many more times? And I understand he the highest paid man of the land, but this is our job to know it. So, and you've been around, you've been in the league on the college level, on the high school level, and then on the NFL level. You have been around women who have asked you questions. Right. So for me, I just think that he could have been choice words better, but then
I said that.
he let it go. But then you came back yesterday and you said something even more crazier. He was just like, sometimes you just need to just to let it go and just take what you. And I think it's like, yeah, I heard, bite your tongue, because again, you talking about when your money start being involved. Yeah, you do a tweet. Everybody on this tweet. Yeah, when your money start getting snatched, everybody comes with a reflection. But if they wouldn't have took his money, that he wouldn't have made no tweet or anything else. But when and they took it quickly and they removed him and put it right back. I mean, it was like right there.
And that's just like with the other female journalists.
My thing with Cam Newton is though, when he said that, like when the reporter asked him about the routes or whatever and all, and he stood up there, she's talking about routes. That's not a joke. She's asking a real question. But after the fact, when the interview was over, he wasn't man enough to apologize right then and there. If he would have apologized right then and there, we wouldn't be talking about this.
My thing is, I feel like it's still been overblown anyway, because everybody's so on Cam Newton being held to a higher standard than the president of the United States, and what he's stating and trying to basically divide the sports world against everybody else, which he's actually doing. My thing is, Cam saying as opposed to what our commander-in-chief, the highest position, the person in position in office, you can have. My thing is, where is the backlash coming from our commander-in-chief as opposed to Cam Newton, who's an NFL quarterback.
Well, we just report. I just think for me as a women, I just, again, he just got to, women.
Then they pulled up racist retweets from what the female were. I'm just saying. I'm putting it this. They brought up racist tweets from what she. I'm just saying. Me personally, I didn't feel like. I feel like. It's like I said. That's just like I think they blew it out of proportion as far as with what has been said when we have our commander-in-chief making his remarks about calling people's moms SOBs and players and all this and all that. We have all this other stuff going on as opposed to everybody wants to hold Cam Newton, an NFL quarterback, to a higher standard, like Emmitt Smith came out and said today, than the commander-in-chief. Where's the backlash?
What, sports? Like I said, moving forward, listen, with your rant, I'm just like,
I think this was the rant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were at the rant. So listen, it has been a great hour.
Yes,
I would say great 2 hours. And again, next week, we're going to be out here on the high school trail.
Yes.
We're going to be at East.
Yes.
Memphis, we're going to be at East for the homecoming game. And then we're going to be at Marion Franklin's game. We're going to be at the Clippers in Conversation. The voices matter. So again, on the move with SportzKelz, hustle and heart, set us apart. We out.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
You are now watching On the Move with SportzKelz.
I've been running the long run. I've been fighting the good fight. Got my eye on the good prize. So I see you at the finish line. And we all here to get yours. Best believe I'ma get mine. The only one holding me back is me. So I see you at the finish line.
Full speed ahead, cause early bird get the worm or receive the bread. Cause every day it's like a race from start to finish. And this I can't evade, so Gatorade till I replenish.